Let's discuss superstitions. The other day I mentioned to Julie that I didn't think that I was a very superstitious person. She replied,
So, as a nurse, we tend to be superstitious. In fact, there are actually articles about nursing superstitions. And the first superstition is the Q word. Otherwise, you never say the word quiet. Just because you can be having a great day and somebody says the Q word, and everything goes bonkers. The next superstition is the full moon. So, babies are born on the full moon, people die on the full moon, uh, people kind of go a little crazy on the full moon. So, whenever you work the full moon, you're always on guard for something happening. Another one is the rule of three. And weird things happen in threes. And so you basically, if something happens that's kind of not usual, you know that it's going to happen two more times. It may not be to yourself, but it might be to one of your colleagues. Every nurse has their lucky charm. For me, it's my pen. I use a certain type of pen, and it's the only pen that I will ever use. And if I don't have that pen, then I just am off. Like, my whole mojo is off. And I think every nurse has their thing. It might be a certain pair of clogs. It might be something that they keep in their pocket. It might be their stethoscope. We all have our lucky charms. As an oncology nurse, we never say a patient's name that we don't want to jinx them. Like, we never would say the patient's name, but we might say, how is so-and-so that had so-and-so and did so-and-so, but we'll never say their name, because if we do, they're going to end up coming back in. So you never say a frequent flyer's name.
"Oh, I was more like thinking, don't break a mirror, or don't crawl underneath a ladder, or don't step on a crack. You'll break your mother's back."
Guys, this weekend went perfect. Knock on wood.
And why are we talking about superstitions? Well, we are renaming the boat, and historically, that is considered bad luck. Weather turns pretty quickly here in Maine. So the first part of October, we took our last sail to Rockland, and we made Rockland Harbor in one tack, which I thought was pretty good. We stayed overnight in Rockland at the dock, and then the next morning we took her to Night Marine and had her hauled out and taken home from there. Before we get to that part, let's enjoy the sail first. Gotta stay. Fin on. Fin on. Fin on. The next morning we prepped the boat by taking off all the sails, removing the canvas from the bimini, and then removing the cotter pins from the shrouds and backstay, and labeled all of the shrouds. We took off all the lines that we could from the roller furling and the mast and used cellophane to hold everything put, and started the short trip to Knights Marine. Not quite depressing, but still on the water, the end of the season.
easier than I thought it was going to be.
We had jumped in the water in Round Pond to check the bottom and cleaned off some growth, really just a film. We've also wiped down the hull before racing in Charleston, but I had no idea.
It's alive! It's alive!
How you doing today?
Good, buddy. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Now the hard part, Russ, all winter working on it.
Awesome. I had a hard time filling out the check.
So exciting.
Yeah, I'd never seen them unload a boat like this.
Yeah, did you hear me ask him how was that? It's a close space. He goes, they're all close. Well, I had never done that before, so that was an experience. Very stressful.
Russ was so stressed. It was like, oh my gosh.
We took the fence out between the two houses over here. We were debating on whether we needed to take it out, and we are so glad.
Yeah, and then Russ had made the side steps removable and on wheels, so that was easy to get our side steps out. But it was a neighborhood production. All the neighbors watched. It was a fun day.
Yeah, you might have noticed the motor on the outboard motor on the back of the boat. We went for a sail the day before, and we heeled over quite a bit, and we knew we were going to pull it out of the water, so we didn't fill up the diesel tank. And I think one of the pickup came up out of the water, so then the engine didn't have any fuel anymore. So as a last resort, we put the outboard on the back, which was a nice experience it was a nice experiment because in an emergency, you could throw your dinghy on the back of the boat and get you along. It actually pushes us along at about 3.5 knots at about a third throttle, something like that.
It was just kind of interesting going in because the ferry was right next to us. So when the ferry engines were going,
you get a lot of wash.
You get a lot of wash. So it would have been better to have a real engine, but it worked.
So it's here, it's home, and let the work begin. So thanks for watching. Next time we will show you the next steps. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, the next steps. See ya.
See ya.
Another superstition. Another superstition. The next superstition.